People do not defend systems because those systems are good. They defend them because leaving feels like a loss. This distinction matters more than most people are willing to admit. When you see someone defending a belief, an institution, a relationship, or a spiritual structure that clearly exhausts them, confuses them, or limits them, the immediate impulse is judgment. We call them blind, weak, indoctrinated, foolish. That reaction misses the mechanism entirely. Defense is rarely about truth. Defense is about investment. Once time, identity, emotion, or meaning has been poured into something, the nervous system begins to protect that investment automatically. Questioning the structure no longer feels like intellectual inquiry, it feels like self-destruction. This is where the trap tightens. Most people do not defend what works, they defend what they have already paid for. Paid for with years, paid for with obedience, paid for with silence, paid for with sacrificed alternatives. Leaving would mean admitting that the cost was real and the return was limited. That admission is unbearable for many, so the mind reframes. Exhaustion becomes growth, confusion becomes mystery, pain becomes purification, restriction becomes discipline. This reframing is not dishonesty, it is survival psychology. The human mind is not designed to sit comfortably with the idea that it has wasted a significant portion of its life. When confronted with evidence that an investment was draining rather than nourishment, the mind would often choose rationalization over reckoning. This is not weakness, it is protection. Understanding this removes contempt and replaces it with clarity. People defend draining systems because those systems have become extensions of their identity. Leaving would not simply change what they believe, it would change who they are. Identity is not a light garment. It is a structure built slowly through repetition and reinforcement. Once built, it resists dismantling. This is why logic rarely breaks devotion. Devotion is emotional. Devotion is relational. Devotion is historical. When someone says to you, "This saved my life," they are not making a claim about effectiveness. They are making a claim about meaning, and meaning is heavier than evidence. Once meaning is attached, scrutiny becomes a taboo. Scrutiny threatens not just belief, but the narrative that organizes a person's life story. If the system is flawed, then the story must be revised, and revising a life story is destabilizing. So the system is defended, not because it is flawless, but because it holds the past together. This is why people become hostile when you question what drains them. They are not defending the system against you, they are defending themselves against collapse. If the system falls, what does that say about their choices? If the belief fails, what does that say about their devotion? If the structure is false, what does that say about their sacrifices? These are not small questions. So the mind chooses coherence over accuracy. Accuracy can wait. Coherence must be maintained. This is where loyalty replaces discernment. Loyalty is not evil, but loyalty without clarity is dangerous. It binds people to structures that no longer serve them, long after the cost outweighs the benefit. Most people remain in draining systems long past the point of usefulness because leaving requires grieving, and grief is rarely acknowledged in systems that demand constant affirmation. Grief would require admitting loss. Loss would require honesty. Honesty will require destabilization. So the system encourages gratitude instead. Be grateful for the struggle. Be grateful for the pain. Be grateful for the confusion. Gratitude in this context is not appreciation. It is anesthetic. It numbs the recognition that something is wrong. When gratitude is demanded rather than arising naturally, it is not healing, it is suppressive. This is how people are trained to endure what should be questioned. Endurance is praised, departure is shamed. Staying becomes virtuous, leaving becomes failure. This moral framing is critical. When departure is framed as weakness, cowardice, or spiritual immaturity, people remain loyal long after their inner signals are screaming for change. The body often knows first. Chronic fatigue, emotional numbness, recurrent confusion, diminished curiosity, overthinking. These are not signs of growth, they are signs of depletion, but depletion is reframed. You are not tired because you are transforming. You are not confused because truth is deep. You are numb because you are transcending. Notice how every symptom is redirected inward. The system is never questioned. The individual always is. This inversion ensures stability. People who are drained begin to believe that the problem is their resistance, not the structure. They try harder, surrender more deeply, silence themselves more completely. The system survives. This is why many systems do not collapse from failure. They collapse from overfunctioning. They demand so much adaptation that eventually the human cost becomes visible. Until then, the most loyal defenders are often the most depleted participants. Their defense is not confidence, it is fear. Fear of starting over, fear of being wrong, fear of starting without a script, fear of standing on your feet against all odds without guidance. A draining system provides certainty even if it costs vitality. Vitality without direction feels dangerous to many. Draining certainty feels safer than open ambiguity. So people defend the drain. They explain it, they justify it, they evangelize it. Evangelism is often a form of self-persuasion. The louder the defense, the deeper the doubt. This is not an accusation. It is an observation. When someone truly nourished by a system is questioned, they respond with clarity. When someone drained is questioned, they respond with aggression, moralization, or withdrawal. These reactions are diagnostic. Clarity does not need defense. Drain does. This is why conversations around living systems are so volatile. They are not about ideas. They are about identity, history, and unresolved grief. Grief for lost time, grief for abandoned alternatives, grief for versions of the self that were never explored. Most people are not ready to grieve, so they defend. Defense is easier than mourning. This is why systems that drain people often demand constant reaffirmation, testimonies, declaration, public loyalty. These rituals are not about truth, they are about reinforcement. Reinforcement keeps doubt from becoming conscious. Once doubt becomes conscious, the system begins to lose its grip. So doubt is preemptively framed as danger. If you doubt, you are failing. If you leave, you are ungrateful. If you question, you are arrogant. These framings are powerful because they tie structural critique to moral judgment. People will tolerate suffering more readily than moral condemnation. This is how exploitation hides behind virtue. It does not announce itself as harm, it announces itself as purpose. Purpose is intoxicating. Purpose can justify almost anything. People will endure exhaustion, poverty, confusion, and emotional erosion if they believe it serves a higher purpose. The problem arises when the purpose is undefined, unexamined, or endlessly deferred. Deferred purpose keeps people invested without payoff. You are not there yet. You must give more. A breakthrough is coming. Have more faith. God shall provide. Coming is another profitable word. Coming keeps people waiting. Waiting keeps people compliant. This is not limited to spiritual systems. It appears in relationships, workplaces, ideologies, and identities. Anywhere investment is high and exit is framed as failure, defense will appear. The deeper the drain, the stronger the defense. This is why outside observers are often confused. They see the harm clearly and wonder why the individual does not leave. They underestimate the cost of leaving. In the mind of the individual, leaving is not simply an action, it is a reckoning. A reckoning with time, a reckoning with self-trust, a reckoning with the possibility that something previous was misplaced. Something precious was misplaced. That reckoning requires space, safety, and often silence. Most systems do not provide those. Instead, they provide reassurance. Reassurance keeps people functional. Reckoning sets people free. Freedom, however, is disorienting. A person who leaves a draining system often enters a period of instability. Old structures are gone. New ones are not yet formed. Identity is in flux. Most people interpret this phase as evidence that leaving was wrong. It is not. It is the necessary vacuum before reorganization. But because this phase is uncomfortable, many people return to their familiar drain rather than endure the ambiguity of rebuilding. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar possibility. This is one of the most under-acknowledged truths of human behavior. People do not choose what is best, they choose what is familiar. Draining systems exploit familiarity. They become home. And leaving home, even when home is harmful, is terrifying. Understanding this removes the urge to rescue, argue, or shame. It replaces with patience. People cannot be forced to see what they are not ready to grieve. This channel does not exist to convince people to leave systems. It exists to illuminate the mechanics of staying. Once those mechanics are visible, choice becomes possible. Choice does not mean departure. It means awareness. Awareness allows a person to notice when defense is protecting truth, when it is protecting fear. That distinction changes everything. If you feel defensive, listening to this pause, ask yourself what feels threatened. Is it a system you are in? Or the story you've been told about yourself, or the story you have told yourself several times over? Why are you in it? That question is not meant to provoke guilt. It is meant to invite honesty. Honesty precedes freedom. People defend what drains them because draining systems teach them to equate endurance with worth. Breaking that equation is revolutionary. You are not valuable because you endure. You are valuable because you are alive, perceptive, and capable of clarity. Endurance without understanding is not a virtue. It is postponement. Understanding does not demand immediate action. It demands recognition. Recognition weakens enchantment. And once enchantment weakens, defense becomes unnecessary. You do not need to fight what drains you. You only need to see it clearly. Seeing, in this case, is enough.